American man in his 50s impregnates 3 young Indian women. A new life in a polygamous community. Infidelity story, romantic story. The escape from emptiness. I was 52 when I stopped recognizing the man in the mirror. The gray in my beard, the ache in my knees, the distant gaze in my wife's eyes. We hadn't touched in months, maybe years. Our conversations were about groceries and property taxes. Sex. A forgotten language. I lived in a comfortable prison 4-bedroom house in the suburbs, early retirement plan, and a marriage held together by shared silence. One evening I joined a spiritual forum online. I wasn't searching for women. I was searching for meaning. That's what I told myself anyway. The group was filled with people from across the world. Young idealists, seekers of truth, mostly from India. One comment from a user named entangled caught my eye. She quoted Rumi and asked if I'd ever felt reborn in someone else's fire. I messaged her. Just curiosity. Nothing more. Anaya was 24. Wildly curious, spiritual, flirtatious in the way innocent minds are. She called me Sir at first, then Michael G. Then just M. We talked about books, dreams, past lives. She said she felt safe with me, like I carried a calming energy. Our chats became daily, then nightly. She asked if I believed in twin flames. I asked her if she'd ever fallen for someone she couldn't touch. Started with words, then photos, then confessions. I told her things I hadn't told my wife in years. Eventually I said I needed to find myself. I booked a flight to India. A spiritual retreat, I told my wife, who barely looked up from her wine glass. Inside I knew the truth. I wasn't running from my life. I was running toward something, someone who made me feel alive again. Crossing lines and borders. India hit me like a fever dream. The air was thick with spice, the sun unforgiving. But I'd never felt so awake. Anaya met me outside the ashram, her long black braids swaying, her eyes shy and hungry. She wore a yellow kurta and spoke softly, yet everything about her presence screamed wild freedom. We walked through temple courtyards and back alleys, her fingers brushing mine. We talked of karma and destiny, and though I told myself this was just about closure, I knew I was lying. That night, we sat beneath a banyan tree during a lunar festival. She leaned in and kissed me without hesitation. I felt 20 again, ravenous, desired, understood. We made love in a modest room lit by oil lamps. No air conditioning, just skin, breath, and soul. It wasn't just sex, it was baptism. In her arms, I forgot every spreadsheet, every board meeting, every cold shoulder I'd come home to. Anaya introduced me to her friends. Meera, 22, a firecracker with sharp wit, and Divya, 25, quiet and nurturing. They lived in a spiritual community that embraced polyamory and shared emotional bonds. At first I resisted. I wasn't that kind of man. But then I watched them, how they supported one another, how they laughed without envy. Anaya said, "Love isn't meant to be caged." They invited me to stay longer. And I did. Soon our nights were shared. Some evenings with one, sometimes with two. I knew I had crossed a line I could never uncross. But I didn't feel guilt anymore. Felt chosen. Worship. Life. 3 heartbeats, 1 secret. The weeks blurred into months. I started dividing my life. Half in the US, where I pretended to attend retreats and conferences, and the other half in India, where I lived like a spiritual patriarch. I wasn't just their lover. I was their guide, their protector, their future. Then came the news. First it was Anaya. She found me in the garden, eyes wide, hands trembling. I think, "I'm pregnant." I held her stunned. A week later Meera called me Daddy, then laughed, then cried. A test confirmed it. Then Divya, with a silent smile and a tear rolling down her cheek, nodded slowly. 3 women. 3 babies. My children. The magnitude nearly crushed me. At 52 I was gonna be a father again, 3 times over. From women barely older than my daughter. I told myself it was a miracle. The women believed it too. In our community, I was seen as a sole father, a chosen man. Locals began referring to me as the one who brings new life. But guilt crept in. My wife was sending worried emails. She asked if I was okay. Said she missed my voice. One night I saw her photo on my phone and wept. I had destroyed the only thing that had ever been stable. Still I couldn't leave. The 3 women, now all showing signs of pregnancy, began growing possessive. Mira demanded more time. Anaya wanted exclusivity. Divya, ever quiet, started withdrawing. I had created something sacred but also dangerous. Was this love or delusion? Exile, euphoria, and eternity. It all unraveled on a cold evening in January. My wife confronted me on Zoom. She had gone through my bank statements, seen charges in Tamil Nadu, found chat logs. She demanded the truth. I couldn't lie anymore. I told her everything. The affairs, babies, the community, the love. She cried once. Then she hung up. We divorced quietly. I sold my house, liquidated my 401k, left behind my old life for good. My daughter disowned me. My friends called me insane. My name was a whisper in my hometown. I moved permanently to India, to a modest home we built together. No Wi-Fi, no fancy appliances, just mud walls, mango trees, and the laughter of 3 pregnant women. I attended the births of all 3 children. 2 boys, 1 girl. I named them after the elements, Ariv, Vayu, and Dia. At night, I sit by the fire, 1 baby on my lap, another nestled beside me. The women, my partners, my companions, sit around me, humming lullabies and oiling each other's hair. This life is hard. There's no glamour here. But I am whole. Infidelity didn't destroy me. It revealed me. I betrayed one life to give birth to another. I will never be forgiven in the world I came from. But in this strange, dusty village, I am a father, a lover, a legend. Sometimes I wonder who I really am. Then I look into the eyes of my 3 children, and I know. I am finally free.